Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking out this episode of Nerd Caliber. I'm here with Redfield, who I've known for, wow, was it maybe 8 years, 10 years now? It's been a while.
I think, yeah, it's been a while. Probably eight. I lived in Maine for a few years. I think I've been back for about eight.
Yeah, and we've met each other through, I think, at steampunk conventions back when they were a really big thing back
Probably, yeah.
then. And today we're going to talk about her latest work that she's still working on completing. Hopefully, it'll be ready by next year when hopefully conventions will come back up. So this will be a part
Oh, it
one.
better be done.
Yeah, I hope so. So yeah, so tell us what are you creating right now?
So I usually do sewing stuff, and I still do sewing stuff, but um, I've kind of thrown myself headlong into large foam work, and I've been making a Space Marine based on uh, a paper core pattern, and my husband has been helping me since he has already made his own Space Marine, and he knows all of the pitfalls and such. So making a Space Marine.
So what? So now that you've decided to do this, what's the first steps that you do in order to start making this project?
Space Marines are part of Warhammer 40K, and they have their own guilds, they have their own lore, they have their own thing. Um, and I decided that, and this was kind of a joke that we had from when he built his, that when I built mine, I was going to make a Ben Franklin Space Marine. So, like Ben Franklin, like the founding father, the guy who helped write the Declaration of Independence. Um, so, what I did first was I had to research a whole bunch of information about Ben Franklin, which is not normally the first step I take into making any cosplay. And then from there, I took random facts about Ben Franklin and I kind of fused them onto the armor in places I thought would be appropriate.
Did you have to draw anything out first before do
I
any
did.
math?
I did. Not necessarily math. We did have to figure out how tall I was going to be in comparison to how tall a Space Marine is going to be. Normal Space Marines are about 7 feet tall, and I am only 5 feet tall. I'm 5'5", and that would have just been a huge leap. Like it would have looked ridiculous. So we decided that I was going to be 6.5 feet tall, and then some math had to go into was involved in like how big are the stilts? What does that mean for the paper core pattern? What does that mean for foam wise? What is it kind of that kind of math happened, but not anything crazy complicated.
Okay. So the cost of materials, how much do you think this is gonna cost you in the long run?
I don't know. Part of it is that we do have a pretty substantial, you can't see it, it's over here on the camera, a pretty substantial stash of foam from when my husband made his Space Marine. The other problem is also that the pieces that you end up getting aren't good for anything. Like they're very weirdly shaped and they're very weirdly like cut into, and you kind of have to like Frankenstein pieces together. Um, so I don't really know. I've ordered like 10 rolls of 10 millimeter foam at this point. And he doesn't have arms yet. He's got shoulders, but he doesn't have arms. He doesn't have a sword, but he does have a backpack. It kind of varies. And then there is in this one going to be a large sewing element. So, factor in all of that stuff. I don't even want to think about it.
So besides foam, what else do you think you're gonna need for this project? Do you think you'll need like paints as well?
So, I already started painting him. I've been using some acrylics. It's been working out really well. I've used foam clay for him. He's got dowels. We actually 3D printed the stilts that go in his shoes, which I don't think I have a pair because they're pretty cool. But we 3D printed a stilt that is the same size as my foot, so the silhouette of the foot is smaller because when stilts get applied into things, walking can be complicated because the foot doesn't bend the way your shoe does. We've 3D printed. There's going to be a whole bunch of PVC. We're going to use lights, a lot of lights. There's some metal pieces. He's going to be wearing a banyan. So I'm going to make this 6.5 foot tall thing a giant coat with fur. There's going to be etching, like glass etching involved. It's multifaceted, to say the least.
Okay. What are you gonna do for, I guess, the? Are you gonna have like an open helmet? Cause are you gonna have like the wig to go with? Cause with for Ben Franklin.
So, interesting fact. Ben Franklin actually didn't wear a wig that often. So that's kind of a problem because I am not like a 60-year-old heavy-set gentleman, to say the least. So there's also probably going to be some makeup involved. He might have a helmet. I'm kind of thinking not, because of his size and how Space Marine armor fits. I don't really have my hands at all. They're going to have extensions on them. He's also got a laser cannon, but that's completely different. So I don't have my hands and I'm not on the ground. So I personally feel like I would feel better if I could talk, like if my head was free. So I have a few things that I'm thinking about. I might keep my hair like the length that is now and just pull it back in like a ponytail, like an old-fashioned queue. If we want to go back to when he was in France and he pretended to be like a simple bumpkin from the colonies, he might have a fur hat on, but I haven't really pinned down the head and the face. The other part of that also is that if you see, so this is my armor behind me, this is the chest. This piece right here goes to about right here on my face, like right about my nose. So if there was a helmet, it wouldn't necessarily do anything. Like I'm already can't see anything.
Okay. How did you factor in also about like whether or not it might be too hot in there or anything like that?
Yeah, so there's a large actually community of people who do Warhammer 40k armor. And so I found my husband was part of it first because he made his first, and then I stumbled upon it through him. And there is actually going to be a fan, which is right here, that is covered in lights, and it is going to be attached through the backpack into the chest piece. And it's got its own little battery pack. And it's actually going to be, we think that it's going to, in theory, suck air from the chest out through the backpack instead of blowing it in, just because of how this is going to fit within the backpack chest itself.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So we have thought of this many times. And because my husband has worn one, he knows that it becomes very hot. He only had water in his. I don't think he had a camel backpack. I don't necessarily think there's gonna be space in mine for a camel backpack, so fan is where we're going with this. And maybe like a super crazy straw, because I think that'd be hilarious.
Oh, okay. Would you be able to show us the details of that front plate? It looks like it's
Okay.
a lot of carving, or is that paint, or?
Yeah, so it's a lot. It's a lot of different things. And I can actually show you. I'll show you this guy, and then I'll get the backpack because the backpack's done. This
Oh,
chest is not done. I can still show it to you, but it doesn't look as impressive or as finished as it should be. So I had a friend of mine sculpt the eagle head because I was afraid that I was going to make it look dumb. So he's all sculpted. He's got some foam clay on his chest right now that's drying. I put that on this morning. This is quick seal to give it more of like a feathered effect. This is clay foam, and then these are 2mm foam that I kind of designed to fit in as a wing. And then like I got buttons, for these little like rivets. He's gonna have, because I'm super nerdy detail, he's got leather bands here that like hold his chest together, because that's how I feel like he would get in and out of it. And then he's gonna have tubes that come in from here that go around to the backpack, and then the feet of the eagle is going to clasp around those pipes.
Okay.
So
And is the eagle also made out of foam as well?
um so the head, his body is made out of foam, and the quick seal. His head is made out of I keep saying the name wrong. Free free no Freeform sculpt, yes. Not freeform air, the other one. And that's what his head is made out of. And then this is this is also the quick seal, because when I gave it to him, I gave it to my friend on a piece that was flat, and it was the right shape, so when I got it back, I could fit it into the wings. And I had to fill it in. It was flat, and then because his chest is curved, I had to fill it in and then kind of texturize everything to look like the texture that my friend gave it on his face.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
So
And,
yeah, so that's that thing.
and you mentioned that the backpack was finished as well.
Yeah, there are several pieces that are done. So the chest, the shoulder, everything actually from the waist down is done. So let me just grab a piece,
Sure.
and I will be right back. Here's the shoe that I was talking about.
Oh my gosh.
And then this is the stilt that we had printed. I can't take it out because it's bolted through the bottom. Yeah, so we had this printed PVC strapped to my leg. So that is the shoe. And
Now,
then this is the backpack. Oh, that.
that it looks heavy, but it's not, right? That boot.
I mean, it's the heaviest part is the PVC.
Hmm.
The whole thing is hollow. And then it's got rubber and foam and a plastic board at the bottom that I'm blanking on the name of right now. So in theory, the heaviest part is actually it's probably the PVC that holds the stilt, is the stilt part. The shoe, the 3D print is not as heavy as just the PVCs and all the bolts that hold everything in place. So this is the backpack, and he's almost done. Actually, you can see this is where this is going to go. Not with this pipe hanging out. That's for the smoke machine.
Oh wow.
So that would sit in here like that, and it would have a hole in the chest, in the back of the chest, that this sucks air through. But this is the backpack, and all Space Marines have a backpack. This one is based on a Ben Franklin stove. So it's going to have lights in it, so it looks like it's on fire, or has fire coming out of it like a stove. And then smoke is going to come out of these vents. I don't really know what they're supposed to be. And then these little guys open up, so we can turn everything on. So yeah. So that's what's sitting on the back of the chest
Wow. It almost looks.
when everything is done.
It looks like it's made out of wood.
Life goals. Yeah, so it's all foam. This is just box cutter X-Acto knife, blade of some kind, and then heated with the heat gun, and it separates. Kind of just a general cosplay trick. And then I took my soldering iron and grungied it up a little bit. And then the texture on this guy, and on the shoe, actually, it's also on the shoe, is from a blade or a rotating thing on my Dremel. It's a little tiny ball Dremel thing, and it gives you this kind of like wood, or not wood, but like a cast iron metal texture. And I wanted to be able to, I want people to differentiate between wood and cast iron and metal and, I mean, cloth, but cloth isn't really in this part. Um, and kind of understand that this is something that somebody has built with the technology that they have, or the knowledge of the world that they have at the time that it was made, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Wow. How long did that take you to make? At least the backpack.
The backpack, I'd say about a week, maybe. I haven't worked. It's part of the problem is that it's very humid in my basement, and it's been crazy humid here. I started this all during quarantine. Like literally the first like 2 days of quarantine, I was building the shoe, I think. So he's about 6 months in to being done. I had a whole timeline, but as I said, there was no point, or as I said earlier, there was no point in me finishing him very quickly when there wasn't a conference coming. And if I wanted to compete with him in big things, then I needed it to be very good and very clean and very clear. And I had never used foam before, like not like this. Like I had done little things in foam, but not anything this big, let alone anything as big as the chest.
Wow. Awesome. Well, this will be our part one for now, and then we'll come back and talk to you again as you're making more pieces later in the year. Very excited to see this finish. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, it should be interesting. My kind of goal with it is that people who like uh, Warhammer will be like, that's a cool Space Marine. People who don't get it will be like, that's a cool cosplay. I don't know what that is, but it's cool. And then people who look at all the signs, see all the signs, know kind of those history geeks will be like, are you, did you just make a Ben Franklin Space Marine? And then I want those, like, I really want that interaction of like, did you just, and I can't even handle what you just did moments. I hope that happens.
All right, excellent. Well, where can people watch more of your work as you're constructing this, or your other great cosplays? Where can they find you on social media?
So you can find me mostly on Instagram at alternative underscore couture because I do mostly sewing stuff. And then on Facebook, it's Redfield Design. And I believe that like in the address is also alternative couture, but you can just, Redfield Design in the little search bar. And I should be at least one of the top three things to pop up.
Thank you, Redfield, for showing us this. Again, I can't wait for it to see it finished, and I can't wait to talk to you more about it again. And to our viewers, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more cosplay content. Have a great day, everyone.